Keir Starmer is waking up to a nightmare this morning, with Labour being decimated all across the country from all sides. Their traditional working class heartlands in the north are dropping like flies, and it is largely this morning Nigel Farage's Reform Party who are the big winners. I'm speaking at about 8 a.m. and they are winning hundreds of council seats, whereas Labour are losing hundreds of council seats, and it looks like it's only going to get worse for the Prime Minister, especially when voting count starts in Wales, the fortress which Labour have held for a century, and they now look to be pushed into third. Nigel Farage doing incredibly well, not just in traditional areas where you can expect Reform to do well, such as Essex down south, but really in those red wall seats up in the north, old traditional working class blue collar strongholds that once were typically Labour and are now going to Reform. We emerged this morning really in an era of five-party politics, where the traditional duopoly of Labour and the Tories looks like it is in its death throes, at least for this election. Voters are much more mobile these days, and they are happy to switch their allegiance, someone they might have voted for decades, if they think that someone better comes along, if they're getting fed up with the two parties who have dominated British politics for a century now. And that's really what we're seeing play out this morning. Clearly, the context of these local elections was the political fate of the Prime Minister. He is already fighting to cling on to his job after a tumultuous 2 years in Downing Street. Many MPs want rid of him. They see him as historically unpopular and an electoral liability. These set of devastating elections risk only accelerating any sort of leadership challenge for the Prime Minister. We can expect Downing Street to come out in the next few days, promising a packed agenda. We've got the King's Speech next Wednesday, where Keir Starmer will try and move on from these dismal results. However, they risk being so bad that Labour MPs just think there is no way back for him, and actually they need to get rid. The problem these plotters have is that there is no one clear rival to coalesce around. Angela Rayner, seen as one of the front runners, well, she's clearly got problems with her tax affairs, and I also really am sceptical about how popular she is in the wider country. Wes Streeting, pretty popular in the country, but doesn't have the Labour members on side. He's seen as a bit of a party street fighter, factionalist who has alienated many of the grassroots left-wingers. And obviously Andy Burnham, the Greater Manchester mayor, who doesn't at the moment have a seat in Parliament, so wouldn't be able to stand. So listen, it's been a very long night so far. It's early days. We're still going to see more results trickle in throughout the day and even into Saturday. But the headline this morning, as we wake up, is that Labour are going backwards in all areas of the country. Reform are doing incredibly well, especially in Labour's working class heartlands. Kemi Badenoch's Conservatives, they're also taking losses, although at least a crumb of comfort for her is they've managed to win back Westminster Council in London, a flagship Tory council back in the days of Margaret Thatcher, which they lost just before the last general election. So they've at least managed to win that back, but it's not looking incredibly rosy for the Conservatives. The Lib Dems doing okay. The Green Party making some inroads, although at the moment they don't appear to be making the dent in areas such as London, which their leader Zach Polansky had wanted to. Polansky obviously has been embroiled in some rows this week, which has seen his own personal popularity plummet. So we wonder whether that is feeding through to the ballot box.